Only 30 seconds before we went live.
That's it, mate.
Talk about winging it. Right then, this is Just Fucking Do It. This is... It isn't that live. It says now live for me.
There we go, we're live.
Right, I'm sure we will. Just Fucking Do It. It's episode 2. And I think it's a really important one because this is where we kind of... We come clean. And... Yeah. This is where we come clean. I'm getting a bit of feedback. This is where we come clean and, see if we've actually achieved what we set out to achieve week 1. You've got 3 coaches here that are basically here to coach each other and keep each other accountable. But we're opening it up to absolutely everybody, every man out there that's struggling, not getting shit done, getting frustrated and repeating year after year of disappointment. So we just want to take a step forward. So last week, it's well worth watching. It's up in our free Facebook group. It's on our personal profiles. We set out some goals that we want to achieve for week 1. And today we're going to go through and see if we did do what we said we were going to do. And it'd be interesting to know if you do take part, if you actually did what you said you were going to do. So it's great to have you joining us. Drop us a message anytime through the week. Join the free Facebook groups. Just fucking do it. We'll walk and talk through some progress, hopefully. So I think we'll go around the room and just quickly introduce ourselves again. And then we'll do our scoring for health, wealth, and relationships, because that's what we're marking ourselves against. If you remember, we marked ourselves against it last week. And let's just have a little think where we are compared to last week. And then we'll dig into what we said we were going to do, whether we did it or not, and coach each other through it. Does that sound good, chaps?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I'm Dennis, 43-year-old, ex-fireman, ex-gym owner, tried my bollocks off for years and years, spinning my wheels, sick of it. So we had a bit of a chat at Christmas, and these guys were feeling the same, and we just want to move forward. So that's where I am. 2 daughters, normal guy, got my own business, but also work for a company. Just like everybody else, working my backside off, but want to feel like I've actually achieved something at the end of every day and every week. So that's me. Over to John, I suppose.
Yeah, John, 33. Similar to Dennis, really. Got my own business. Also work for Dennis. Same kind of thing. Felt like I was spinning my wheels a little bit. Wanted to really push my own business forward and kind of work on that. And that kind of brought us into this little thing. I was a management professional for 10 to 12 years. Exactly the same. Last year was just one of those years, kind of felt like towards the end of it, felt a bit like I was lacking some direction and exactly what I wanted to achieve from my own professional career and things like that. Great big guy, as you can see. So at home. Apart from that, mate, pretty cool. Everything's the same. Been coach for a while. Excited to see how you did last week, though. Excited to see what the scores were.
I'm nervous, coming clean.
I know, yeah, tell me about it. It's the best. Go on, Ben.
Right, so I'm Ben. I'm 29 years old.
Shut up.
Similar thing. Why are you laughing?
No way, you're 29.
You bastard.
Sorry.
Ben's bringing in straight away. Fucking hell.
Feel like I've just been through a bit of a tumble dryer. On and off for quite a few years, to be fair, but mostly last year. And like Den said, we came up with the idea of just holding each other accountable and just cracking on. Just three lads trying to positively influence each other and try and create a bit of an environment where we can bring people on the journey, and this is how we got here. So looking forward to seeing what everyone's done this week. I'm just going to be honest that the whole time, all the way through, just so that anyone who's watching as well can see a real representation of what it is actually like, and make you all understand that not everybody's perfect and you can't just change overnight. So looking forward to getting cracking with this. Let's do it.
Cool. Let's get on with it then. So last week we scored ourselves out of 10 for each of the 3 what we view as important sort of markers we're trying to improve on, which is health, wealth, and relationships. So just take a second. If you're watching it, us 3 are going to do it. Mark yourself out of 10 for health, where you are now, wealth, and relationships, where you are now. And then we're going to kind of look back at the scores from last week and start picking it apart because we set some targets. Did we do it? I'm guessing from the noises Ben's making, not. I think John's more intense. He will not leave a box unticked. And I'm uncoachable, so there's going to be a lot of variables. So
just got coaching you again, so we'll see what we.
Yeah, but at least I've put my background on. I'm professional.
Yeah. Mate, I've got a banging little studio. How can I not put that in there?
That's because I haven't got your studio, though, to be fair. Right, so quickly, health, wealth, relationships out of 10.
So are we going same way as last week? Okay, cool. So health for me, I'm still going to stick at about 7, I think. It's all pretty good. Like I say, there's always room for improvement in like any of these things. A lot of mine is kind of my mental health relationship with myself and things like that, which was one of my goals from last week. Health-wise, I feel good. I feel strong. Fairly happy. My cardio's not back. I feel fit. Managed to duck and dive this plague that's gone around the world, the UK at the moment. Managed to avoid it very well. So yeah, I feel pretty healthy. Everything's good. Like I say, always room for improvement. So 7, I'm going to stick with for that. I think that's all for last week. Wealth. Bit of a slow week, really. Similar to last week, nothing's really taken off. We've got a couple of new clients, which was pretty good, which we're quite happy with. Apart from that, I've made some moves into going sort of sacking off the other job, working for somebody else though. So that's good, but might take a little hit on wealth in the short term for the long term goal. So I'm going to go with a 6.
You took £450 off me, you cheeky git.
Yeah. 400 quid's not a lot though, is it, brother?
It's in a week.
Relationships, yeah, good. Actually a really good week. Went out last night with Ben and a few mates and went for a coffee review the other day, saw my family, obviously been out with Beth and things like that. Everything's pretty good. Relationships, obviously, like I said, the mental health relationship myself is one of my goals from all of this. So I'm still going to stick that. I'm going to keep that an 8 because I think that's pretty good. That's probably my strongest point at the moment. I've got good mates. I've got a really good family. I've got an amazing girlfriend and got a pretty good life in that sense. So I'm going to keep that where it was. It's not really gone up. It's not really gone down. Do you know what I mean?
1 point up on last week, John. 20 last week out of 30.
Oh, that's all right. Which one did it go up on?
So last week you scored yourself, because I'm really organised, I've got all the scores.
Okay, oh, that's right.
Basically, I just haven't tidied up.
Yeah. It's just still as messy as it was last week.
And I've lost it. There we go.
Yeah, is it cool?
Last week you were 7 for health.
5 for wealth.
Wealth up 1, so it's wealth. So
yeah, that's your £450, mate. Cheers for that.
On a serious note, though, you've just said it yourself before we came on about the little things. If you did that every week, that's wealth taken care of.
100%. £500 a week's a couple of grand a month, just on that extra top up. That's fucking, if we can keep that going, that's all right. But yeah, it's all about the small improvements, isn't it? Like I said, I'm not here to move mountains as such. It's just about sustainably building a business, which is not going to stress me out or run me into the ground like it has done.
Yeah.
Like that, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. The world, like I say, the world side of it, I've made moves to kind of take control of my passion as well, which is coaching, and do that completely full time. I've always, one of my issues that I found is that I've always kind of, because I was so long in management and I had a steady salary, and I budgeted everything, I was religious with everything. Going self-employed, as we mentioned last week, was a real tough thing. And I know it was for Ben as well. It was kind of that uncertainty in that realm that you step into was always really tough. And I kind of, when I first did it, I dipped one toe in and one toe out. So I came to work for you, but I still tried to run my own business. So I was self-employed still for you, but still on a bit of salary and things like that. And I'm kind of just I'm going balls deep now. If we're doing this, I've committed to it, and I'm getting rid of the side hustle, like the side jobs, with the sort of steady rate, and I'm just gonna, because then it's all on me. I'm the maker of my own destiny. Then if I can't sell my own product to make a living for myself, I should be doing it. So fucking going balls deep, boys. I'm just gonna do it.
It's a skill, mate. It's a skill. Over to Ben then.
So What am I going to score myself?
Health.
I know that. I don't know what actual score to give myself. I'm going to say 7 for health. Wealth, I'm going to stay 4. Relationships, I'm going to stay 7. So I've gone up 1 in health. And the reason for that is I feel like my knee is progressing. The rehab's going quite well. I've been doing my exercises 3 times a day, every day. And I'm sort of tapering onto 1 crutch now. So I'm feeling a little bit better, a little bit more positive, and feel like I'm just 1 step closer to being able to get out of the house, go to the gym, feel good about myself. So I boosted my point by 1 with that.
That's because he won mini golf last night.
Oh yeah, and I won golf last night, so we won. We won.
On one hand. Should have seen it. Feathering it, mate. Just feathering it, all in one pan. Great piss take, proper ringer.
I know, yeah.
I don't know because I weren't there, I weren't invited.
Sorry, mate. You just felt like a spell, mate. You tell us all the time with 3 couples.
So yeah, just let us know if you want to start Fit Golfers Club up again. Then I'll do some exercise videos for you. Mini golf version.
Mini golf club.
So go on then. 7 for health. You've done your rehab, which is good.
Yeah.
Wealth.
So wealth wise, I had the conversation wise. So I've been way more on it, to be fair, with my social media. With following people, conversations. You set me 5 conversations a day. I'll be honest, I've not had 5 conversations every day. I've definitely reached out to people, but sometimes people have not got back to me and stuff. But one thing I will say is what I've taken away from this week is I'm starting to feel more confident messaging people. I know what to do. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm well aware of how to do it and what to say and everything. But I've neglected it for quite some time. So force myself to actually have conversations with people again, I feel like is helped quite a bit as well. So even though I've scored myself the same because I've not gained anything financially from the conversations that I've had this week, but I would say mentally I've improved a little bit from at least doing that task so far. So yeah, that's why I scored myself the same, but I'm technically better off mentally. So relationships, writing positive things down every day. I'll be honest, I've struggled with that. That's why I've wrote the same thing, because on some days when I'm feeling a bit down or my head's gone a little bit, I find it hard to see the good in things. So I'll sit there and I'll be like, oh, what am I grateful for? And I'll be like, oh, I'll just send my family and my friends again, rather than actually thinking specifically about the day and what I've done on that day that I'm appreciative for. So I would say I did that for about 4 days out of 7. Yeah, slap on wrist for me.
It's not a natural thing to do from our backgrounds, is it?
Yeah.
So it is alien. One of the things that helped with me with that was doing it whilst I'm grateful. So just like, I don't know, say I walk into the kitchen and dogs come up to me for a stroke, right? I'm grateful for that. And it's just noting it in the moment.
In the moment, yeah.
Instead of trying to remember, because we just get distracted, don't we, by everything else in the world. So
yeah. Maybe
that, even if you just tap it into your phone or a voice note or whatever, might be a little thing. And you realise you are grateful for little things, because it's funny, isn't it? Like you say you're a 29-year-old bloke.
Stop laughing.
So it's not a natural thing for a 29-year-old Yorkshireman to do, is it? So, right. So me then, health, I've scored myself a 5. That's actually down on last week, is it? No, it's up. So I've scored myself 6. Because I feel really strong. I've had a good week strength training, and one of the good things I've done is I've rested as well. And I'm going to rest today, ready for. I'm going on a new program again. I just want accountability because I'm uncoachable, and yeah, just to push me out of my comfort zone a little bit. And it's funny because John was going through my program yesterday, and I know I rolled in my eyes. I can't help it. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do that. I've only got an hour. I this, I that.
He wants a strong program. So he's like,
this is where this is helping already, because like it was weird. So me being uncoachable, I'm aware of it, But this has made me step outside it even more. So John's there, produce this program, and you know what John's like. It's like nailed on. And I'm saying, oh, but I this, but I that. What's the point in having a coach? It's mad. And I was literally doing it, but catching myself doing it. Whereas probably before, I wouldn't have caught myself doing it. So again, just like being in the moment and understanding, I caught myself in the moment then, which I'm getting better at because it's something I've been working on with therapy, like you said. So yeah, even just with that, being available to be coached, it's something that's going to take work, and everybody does, doesn't it? It does with everybody. Like, it's easy to throw an excuse in the way when actually it's fear of changing what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Which is why the exercise John's doing, and I've done, I don't know if you're doing it, Ben, but the cold plunge, everything in your head's telling you to not do it. Everything from the minute you know you've got to do it, like whether you wake up in the morning or whatever, but you just do it. And that's it's exercising that muscle, that reflex. And that's what we've got to do day in, day out with all the little things, aren't we? So I think that's, anyway.
It's breaking that habit cycle, isn't it? Because if you're used to making excuses, you're going to, we spoke about this briefly earlier, didn't we? Like that reward cycle of habits. If you're used to making an excuse to not do something, you just becomes habitual to not do things.
Yeah.
You've got to push past. And that's why when I got the ice bath at the start of the week, I added it to my morning routine. And let me tell you, it's been raining in about 5 degrees every fucking morning in Chesterfield this week. And I've never wanted to do it. Like, the first time I did it, I wanted to do it, to try it. After that, I ain't wanted to do it again. It's fucking horrible. Let's be honest.
It's good for videos, though. We've had some good.
It's good for a bit of social content, but my balls are in my throat the entire time. It's not an enjoyable experience. Your skin comes out feeling like you're on fire.
Funny that you look like you're enjoying it on your videos. Not.
I know, yeah. That's what I mean. Just trying to breathe through it. I'm having to like talk to myself. I've got nobody there. That's what Beth was there, and like Ben said to me yesterday, it's like you're trying to coach her in it, and I'm like, yeah, it's going fucking freezing up. Yeah. Just trying to keep my mind occupied. But it is, and I've managed to do it every single morning. I did it this morning, like just before we came on here, and it was raining and it's windy, and I could not be asked. Like, could not be asked. Didn't have that much kit, but I did it. You just got to silence that little inner bitch inside you, haven't you? Like, to quote Joe Rogan, who does it on this, just silence that inner bitch and get it done. Just fucking do it. Name this podcast. Do it.
I love it.
It is good. I am coming around to it though. Like,
yeah. Wealth. So wealth for me, I've marked myself up one, I think. I've marked myself 5. I've had my best week sales-wise at work. I've smashed it. Even in face of some challenges around, obviously I'm doing some solar energy stuff, and there's challenges around people's finances. So done really well with that. But also set up a savings account for the first time in like 43 years of being on planet.
Good boy.
And there's money in it. So wealth, it's not, don't get me wrong, it's not a lot, but it's a start. So I've marked myself up just for commitment. And relationships, 5. That's a big markup, really, because one of the things I've done, one of the tasks I was set is calling people or texting people. I've checked in on a good 5 or 6 people this week and spoke to them, which is great. Yeah. And upshot of it is I've been invited to a birthday party. Like, I know that's not a big thing, but it's like something for me to do on 27th. It's like something to look forward to. So something's actually come from it. I weren't doing it to get something from it. I was doing it because that's what makes you feel good, doesn't it? Checking in on somebody to make sure they're all right. And we're good. And it's funny, isn't it? Because everybody answers the phone a bit shocked. What's up? One of the guys said, "What's up? Are you all right financially and stuff? Like, do you need something?" Like, which probably says, "Oh, what's that say about me?" Well, a while ago, in fact, it's a long time since, because the reason I messaged him, I was walking past the spot where I'd last spoke to him on the phone. I thought, oh, I'll give him a ring. And I did, and that's what sort of prompted me. So I did it straight away. And he doesn't know what's happened to me in this last 9 months. So the conversation went on forever. But it was good. So yeah, overall, score-wise, I've gone from 12 to 16, which is big, mate. 16 is still the lowest out of us lot, but I think last week I'd said about sort of giving myself room for a lot of growth, didn't I? So it's not like I'm down and out. It's just I know there's more in me. So
We discussed that last week as well, though, didn't we? That we were all at different stages in kind of where we were on this journey. We had different struggles which were related to each other in different ways, I suppose it would be. And you'd had a worse 9 months than me, Ben. We could be pretty open on that. And I think, and that is reflected in the scores in terms of how we are all feeling and how we've been through it. And as long as we're both, or as long as we're all on the up, we're all in the right way. Like, this is the whole point about it, is everybody who watches, any man who watches or anything like that, and they're trying to improve themselves, you're not all going to be at rock bottom. You know, everything might be sweet, but you might just want that little bit extra. And if this helps that as well, that's exactly what it's all about. It doesn't matter where you are, there's always a bit of room for growth, personal growth.
So let's get coaching then. So we'll go back around. Again, if you've sort of got feedback from what you're doing, if anybody's watching this at any point, like past, present, future, whatever, just leave a comment on YouTube or the Facebook group, whatever it is. Reach out to us personally. That's what we'll do. We'll just coach you. We're not selling anything. We're just here helping ourselves, but if you can help others along the way, that's what we're all about. Right. So let's get down to the dirty. Obviously, we set tasks and targets last week. We'll start with John. Personally, go through them and just say what you've done, what you haven't, what you found hard, what you found easy, what's helped, what hasn't, and then myself and Ben will jump in, push you through your next steps, and then we'll go on to Ben and do the same and repeat. Yeah.
So yeah, my first one was to brain dump each day, because like I said last week, I'm like a man on times too. Pretty much anything I do, I shut my entire being into. So it was to brain dump each night and then create priority lists for health, wealth, and relationships for either the next day or things like that. I did it on 4 out of the 7 days, and I had excuses from it. To be honest, I'm exactly the same as you've done. People do find excuses. I started off really strong, and then toward the end of the week, I got really busy with new clients, programming, work, just loads of different little things which came in. By the time, some of the days I was getting up at 5 and I was getting back in about 8 or 9, and I was just knackered and I just fell asleep. And it wasn't and I know that's a shit excuse. But the thing I struggled with was knowing what to write, because I'd have needed, it had been a Bible with what goes through my head. You know this, Ben. Like, we spoke about this a bit yesterday. It's kind of, it's almost finding the focus to know exactly what you're putting down on paper. And when I first started, it just seemed to be rambles. As I went through it a little bit, and as I did it a couple more times, it got a little bit more concise and a little bit more to the point of exactly what was going on and what I needed to prioritize. But yeah, overall, 4 out of 7. It was a good exercise, and it's something I'm going to continue doing. I don't really need it as a point. I think in terms of how it helped me, I do feel like it kind of gave me a bit more direction in allowing to kind of cut through the fluff and prioritize the lists of exactly what needed to be done. So I enjoyed it, I suppose. Do I think it benefited me? Yeah, ever so slightly. I do find that prioritizing one thing a day, which was the other part of that you set for me, cut my productivity down quite drastically, if I'm being perfectly honest. The one day that I didn't do it, and I kind of allowed myself to elaborate on my priority list a little bit, I got a lot of shit done. So that's just my 2 cents on that. I don't know what your thoughts are on those things. Another point of it was to try and slow me down a little bit. Well, I felt like it's when you function the way I do, I suppose it felt stressful for me to have to rein myself in. Maybe that's something I've just got to learn to do. Or I did feel like the days where I did it and I stuck to it religiously, like one priority thing of each day, I just felt the end of the day unfulfilled and a little bit like I didn't get anything done.
Ben, do you want to rip in your muscle for that one?
Yeah, so the only thing I would suggest with that then is maybe if you prioritize a few things first thing in the morning for that day, and then you can start elaborating on stuff afterwards. I think the main thing that me and Den sort of come to the conclusion when setting you this was, we didn't want you to be getting overwhelmed with the amount of job lists that you're writing and stuff, and then sort of just ping you around like an headless chicken. But I understand that you as a person, if you feel fulfilled by getting through a checklist because you feel like you've accomplished a lot and it helps your fulfillment, then maybe we do rather than being 1 point, we do elaborate it a little bit and just say, all right, then 3 points for the day. And then if you've achieved them and you're happy with them and you know that you've got the most important things done, then maybe you can progress on to some other tasks that you think might make you more productive. But I think the main thing was to make sure that you're getting your priority tasks done and not being put in, like, what's the right word? Diluting your attention to too many tasks at once. What do you think, Dan?
No, I think that's a brilliant point, mate. That didn't even cross my mind. As soon as you started speaking, I like that. But I think as well, what I wrote down was, so John said as he got towards the end of the week, it dropped off, which says to me that maybe he's putting too much stuff on that list. There's no flexibility in his sort of task list. So it's not sustainable at the level he's doing it at. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's giving himself too much to do because it's his natural way, which is, again, it's not a bad thing. Obviously, John's resistance change on this, which is obviously a common thing we come across as coaches. And it's the same as what I've just said about me being resistant to change. So suck it up, but
I completely agree with it. And it's an excuse. And this is it. This is what the whole point of this is about. And I checked myself doing it as well. And like I say, for the first few days I did it. And it was fine. And the good thing is, what I did do is on my list, I did start to delegate some of them out. Obviously, I've got another coach from Ipcom, so I did start to delegate a lot of those lists out, and that helps. But then for me, it's like you said to me, Dad, like, if there's anything in my business and things, like, it becomes part of me. I just want to know it's being done at the standard I want to do it. So it's one of them. But I had the trust and it did. So, you know, that was a positive from that as well. It still got done, even when I delegated it out. So that is a big positive from it. I will give it that. Like I say, it's something I know I need to do, and it's something I know I need to kind of rein myself in. I've started time blocking again, which has definitely helped just in terms of the organisation of everything. But I'll do it again this week.
So you know them times when you found yourself having nothing to do, like finding something meaningful to do in those times doesn't have to be work, does it either?
No, I didn't. I suppose that's it. I feel like the days where I managed to get the things that I wanted to do done on that, like when I say that I had slightly elaborated on the priority list and I got everything done, I would sit down and I'd play some Xbox and I'd relax, or I'd play my drums or something like that. You know, I do get that time. I'm not constantly on work mode, but obviously for me, I am on work mode a lot. So it's just one of those things, and it's got to be an adjustment thing. You know, eventually when I do go fully self-employed, I kind of need that hustle about me again. So, but I also need to be a bit more efficient with my time and make sure that I've got some form of balance. So it's a good exercise. I'm happy to keep doing it. Like I say, I just felt like for me and my personal goals in my business and career and things like that, I probably might need a little bit more scope to just do more than one thing a day as a kind of thing.
But now you've got a list of things that you know you've been doing. So I'm presuming you've written them down. You've got a checklist. Now you can see what the common ones are that need to be done daily. And maybe there's 2 or 3 out of that list that need to be done daily. And then the rest of it either gets delegated or gets moved. Or maybe Thursdays, your email date, whatever. Do you know what I mean?
If you've got daily tasks and stuff, I feel like don't worry about, don't use them as a priority for that day. If you've got tasks that need doing daily or something, I don't know, a deadline coming up or a program that needs writing or whatever, then I won't use that as a target. That's just part of your shit that you just need to get done, basically, as part of your job or whatever.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that the main priority for the day should be something a little bit bigger than just like a singular task in terms of something that you need to do for your business, if that makes sense.
So in terms of this week's goals for him then, Ben?
I'm going to say stick to the one main task for health, wealth, and relationships for this week, but use them as 3 priorities. Think like in terms of the tasks that we set. I don't know if you want to set them right this second, Dan, or but the tasks that we set for this week, I think use that. You do them tasks first. Make sure that they're done as a priority. But all your other stuff that you're going to do for your productivity in your business or whatever, I don't know, so that you want to do a walk or have an ice bath or whatever, you can still do that stuff. But I think just don't write yourself a massive checklist of everything that you need to do and dilute your attention across it all. I feel like your attention needs to be at your 3 main priorities. And then from there, then you can box stuff off that you need to do, like that's probably not a priority. You might be like, oh, I really need to go and buy some protein bars from shop, or I really need to do this, or I really need to do that. I know how your brain works. That's why you're smirking. And you just write this big, massive list. Whereas in reality, you could just write, I need to do this for my business. I need to do this. I need to, I don't know, do my ice bath for my health. And for my relationship, I need to do my brain dump or whatever. Those are my 3 main priorities. And then after that, yeah, I'll go to the shop if I've got time after I've spent some time with myself or with Beth or whoever, and then just go through the list like that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do that, John, and publicise it on your thing, what you're going to be doing this week, on our thing as well, in the group. Like, right, following up from this, these are the things that I'm going to be doing, and I'll be checking with him next Sunday. This is how I'm going to do it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just writing that stuff. Cool. Checklist. Right. Next one. Wealth. Set one for wealth last week.
Did we set you one? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure we did. I'm sure we will have.
We've got the list somewhere, haven't
Oh, but you look pretty group.
I've got it somewhere.
Wealth. Oh, we're all about chasing.
I've got it.
Didn't understand your why. So you're very much like in chase mode, weren't you? Like intensity. And we were this is where it all came from, weren't it? About structuring it and sort of trusting the process, weren't it?
Yep. 1 second, I've got it.
Yours were read for 30 minutes a day,
Yep.
were number 1. Brain dump were number 2, and self-appreciation were number 3.
Okay, so read for 30 minutes a day. I've got 3 out of 7. Not ideal. Exactly the same as brain dump, just on the last 4 days. Because I usually read before I go to bed. Now I know the answer to this one myself, which is find time in the day. It was more just because I was busy and then I go to bed. By the time I get in bed, so I did pretty much fail on that one. But it was 3 times out of the week more than I'd been reading previously. So in my eyes, it was still a step forward. I'm getting into video editing and things like that to help with the content generation to me and Beth. So I've got a massive final cut, like what I'm going through with exercise and things in it. And that was, it was an hour and a half more that I'd done on that than I had done the last previous 2 weeks. So I felt like it was a step forward. It's definitely something that needs improving, and I would still like to keep it for this week if that's something that you agree with. I think if you want to elaborate on it.
It's not a one-stop thing, is it? Like that's the whole point. We don't have to keep, and I think that's what comes up with the gratitude and your lists. It doesn't have to be varied every day, and you don't have to be creative and think of something new just because you wrote it yesterday. I can be thankful for dog every day. That's fine, as long as I've genuinely got gratitude for it. Same with your lists. All these things we're working on, just because you've done 3 out of 7 this week, we can do it until we get it to 7 out of 7, and then it becomes a habit, and then we have changed, haven't we? We can't be expecting to change every single week.
Cool.
I think for the 30-minute one, John, I think maybe don't put a figure on it and just say that you have to read 30 minutes. Maybe just you read whenever you get a chance, preferably before you go to bed, so you unwind a little bit. But if you're knackered and you just come in and crash straight away from work or whatever, as long as you get some reading in on your lunch break or whatever, just some time to unwind and spend some more time with your thoughts, I think it'd be quite beneficial.
Yeah, definitely for me as well, 100%. The last one was say too, there's obviously to help in terms of my relationship with myself. Yeah, not great. Didn't do it in a single day. I'm gonna be honest with you, lads. It just completely slipped my mind. It was similar to kind of put a lot of focus on the other things. And it wasn't that I actively tried to, which I suppose is my first week wasn't particularly great. I said this to Beth the other night. It wasn't that I tried to not say something nice about myself. It just never happened. It was one of those things where, like, unless I subconsciously did it and I didn't register it, I didn't actively look in the mirror and say, this is good about you, this is good about you, this is good about you. Do you know what I mean? But I also don't feel like I was in any way harsh on myself mentally. I felt really good this week. So I don't know whether it was kind of it's a weird one for me, because before I'm generally quite self-depreciative, as you both know.
I was going to say, I have noticed it in your last couple of weeks, that you are better on yourself.
100%.
I've noticed you've said some things like this, like even just saying that, like my family's good, my relationship's good, I've got this, that's good, I'm happy with this. Like that's self-appreciation. Like it is what you're doing.
Yeah. So I mean, I might have. This is what I mean. I might have done it. The reason I said that I didn't do it on any days because I didn't actively, in the same way as Ben was saying, at night you say these are my wins, and you tried to do that at the end of every night. I haven't done that. I haven't kind of like set out a time to be like, this is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say. Which is rare for me, I suppose. But I have also been a lot less hard on myself, especially in the last couple of weeks. As Den said, I feel like my self-appreciation is going up regardless, because I know I'm working hard and I know things are on the up. So I feel like I've definitely been a lot less self-depreciative than I was before. So I still think that's a victory, because I don't even know if that's necessary at the moment. I'm not going to say it isn't going to be necessary in the future, but at the moment I don't feel bad about myself in any kind of particular way. Just really rare for me.
I feel like it's a good habit to build though, and I don't think you necessarily have to do it in a proper serious way where you sat down going, I am really appreciative for this. You could even do it in a fun way. So when you're about to get in an ice bath, or you're getting out or whatever, just something fun like, I've got balls, or I'm a beast. I'm getting in this ice bath. I don't give a shit what my brain is saying. I'm doing it because I'm a savage. I'm a savage. So even if it's something fun like that, where you're just training your brain slowly, I feel like that could be beneficial as well. What do you reckon, Dan?
No, definitely. It's just generally just. I think you've been. It's the vibe thing, isn't it? Obviously, I see you a lot, and I've seen you a lot this last 9-10 months, whatever. There's a different. Like I saw you yesterday. There weren't that intensity about you, that almost like too much energy. It's almost bursting out of you.
It's been nervous energy for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm very aware of that. You
said something actually in the group after the first ice bath. You said, and I genuinely feel zen.
Yeah.
And probably because you said it, you probably acted it out.
I did. On the first day I did that ice bath, and I don't know whether it was a placebo or what, because I was dubious about all this shit that people say. Everyone goes, oh, it's fucking mint and all that shit, and I was proper dubious about it. But I legit felt like a king that day. Like fucking all day, absolute boss. Could not have felt better. And the second day it felt slightly more dulled. But I don't know whether it was that first one, but I still felt like legit. And I do today. There is something to it. I don't know what it is, that cold shock or whatever, that either makes you really alert. But yeah, like I say, and when I saw you yesterday, I am very aware that I've been told this before. I have like a nervous energy, and it's a lot of it's imposter syndrome, as then you'll know this. And I know that I'm good at what I do in terms of coaching and things like that. I know I can program, and I know a lot about what I try and teach, but there's so many other people around us. But I surround myself with people as well who probably know more than me, and that makes me nervous about my own abilities. And I exude this nervous energy in a lot of areas of my life, and it is one thing I've tried to work at for a long time. But I do feel like it's coming to a head where I am becoming more confident in my own abilities, and I'm not afraid to stand up in a room and be like, well, this is my opinion on something or whatever it is. This podcast is probably going to help that, about actually getting myself out there. It's one of the struggles that I initially had with social media. Whenever I try and do a video, I'm 20 takes in, because if I stutter once, I'm like, fuck's sake, because I don't want to come across like that guy. When in actual fact, that's real. That's it is. Nobody's fucking great at something. So I definitely feel like I'm on the up of that.
Oh,
but that makes me pretty happy.
Yeah, that's only going to improve by doing this as well. Like, we were on camera for an hour and a half last week.
Yeah.
And I think we've pretty much hit the nail on the head. Like, use the ice bath to coach, but use the coaching as self-talk as well. So what I mean by that is, you get out of the ice bath, you do your video, tell people how it makes you feel. Like, I feel this, I feel that, and I'm feeling this benefit. That's self-appreciation, isn't it? And you're actually using it as a force for good, sharing it, which is who you are. That's coaching, and it'll come natural, won't it? Because it's coming from like within you.
Yeah, man.
Because you've spoke to us about it. I feel zen. Well, that's self-appreciation.
Yeah.
Tell everybody. You've just, tell everybody.
So maybe I didn't tick off as formally as such, but I definitely do feel like I've come a hell of a long way, especially in the last few weeks. I feel like there's almost like a door's been locked in my head a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Should we do a cold plunge challenge? Everybody's got to get involved. Look at Ben's face. His lips tight.
No, I'm down.
Hey, come down. Me and Ben were chatting about it yesterday, and he was looking at the big, the actual bathtub ones. Spenny, aren't they? But I've got one in the garden now, boys. Just come round. We'll do it. We'll do a just fucking do it video. We'll just all do a cold plunge. I think that'd be class to put on the YouTube if we all do it, and then we can all sit and talk about how we feel as a little show.
I'm not dodging it. I just can't get there, mate. We're going to talk about my stuff in a minute. I just haven't got time to get anywhere else and do anything else. But I'll jump in cold shower. It was flipping 0 that yesterday. And that was ice. That was cold, man. It felt like it was drilling through my head. Flipping. I loved it though afterwards. I actually felt like I'd got out of a hot shower.
You do. It makes your skin burn. Honest to God, it brings all the blood vessels close to your skin, and I get out and I'm bright red from my neck down.
Yeah. I actually took a photo of myself. I never, ever, ever do that because I couldn't believe how red I were.
Yeah, mad, isn't it?
Even my arse was red, and you saw how white it were on my in.
I thought was funny was when you sent us that video, and as you blow it, fucking doors coming open.
I do know your arse is red, then. All I can imagine now is Denny Mirror like.
Little booty photos all the girls do.
I'm guessing it felt tingly.
Oh, God.
Not taking into golf.
It probably because my balls have sucked themselves up there somewhere.
Think that they were. Right, come on, somebody else then. So are we sticking with me? Are we sticking with the same ones, but we're elaborating on them ever so slightly? So
yeah. But I think that relationship with yourself, use the ice bath.
Yeah.
Then you've got your prompts. That's building a habit, isn't it? Ice bath, talk about yourself, but you coaching as well. It's got. I think so. Anyway, I don't know what Ben thinks.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Well, I'll talk about that because I have been filming it anyway.
But you're not talking about it, yeah.
But I'll when I'm in there, instead of talking myself through it, I'll try and talk about how it's been making me feel. I'll try and elaborate on even the last day. So I'm coaching while I'm in the bath. That might be quite a good thing.
Yeah.
And not just
I need to stay in there for longer if my mind's occupied. But I can talk my way through it, and I'll upload those to the stories daily on just fucking do it then.
Yeah. Maybe it's not just at that point when you're in the bath. Maybe like just register a couple of hours after, like my energy's up or my this. I make sure it's I. You know what I mean? Because it is about you.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. And then 30 minutes a day, any time of the day, just to unwind, read. I can't elaborate that because I really want to get this Final Cut thing done. So I'm going to try and get that 30 minutes a day in. I really want that to be up into the 5-6s at least next week.
Uh-huh.
So that is the thing. So that's your one to really hold me accountable for it in my eyes. And the health, wealth, and relationships, doing my initial priority tasks, allowing myself the scope to elaborate after those priority tasks have been done, or not using. The thing is, I'm creating tasks which are mainly due to work and things, because work takes up a lot of my time. I'm creating a priority list, and a lot of it is work involved. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a health, wealth, and a relationship priority task which is not work involved. Is that all right with you?
Yeah.
Gives me something to focus on, which I have to do each day, which doesn't involve work, and then I have to just do my normal shit.
Yeah. So a wealth one could be I'm only working between 6 a.m. and 5 p.m. today, rather than being like an individual work task, just being like, right, my wealth one is I'm getting all my work done in this amount of time so that I've got time to read and I've got time to do my ice bath and I've got time to train or whatever it may be, rather than having like a specific, I need to, I don't know, do a social media post today. Is that rather than that being a task, have a task of something a little bit bigger in a larger scope.
Awesome. That sounds good for me, boys. I've got this.
Denny boy?
Denny lad, you can go second this time.
So I think my health one, what I've scribbled down was reschedule therapy, which I have done. I've scheduled it, but it's not until 23rd, so that's another week. But like short term, it was to do the tasks that had been set, and I haven't. As in the tasks that the therapist set for me to do, and I haven't. I do a couple of them. I do try and act it out. So, for example, being more present. I'm always pulling myself into the moment. So an example of that might be when I'm out with dog, you catch yourself like head down, thinking, hold on a minute, look at stars, look at moon, pull yourself into the present. So I am exercising it, and that's really important, and that's what the ice bath or ice shower does, doesn't it? It's pulling yourself out of that voice inside your head. So I think the two go hand in hand. So I'm gonna bring the ice bath into my. Well, I'll let you say it, but reschedule therapy. Done that. I've not been doing the tasks. So
what's the reason? Like you've just forgot, or you've not wanted to, or
this is the big thing for me that I want to tackle this week. It's time management, because So us as coaches come across people using time as an excuse, and we're like, fucking no, it's not.
Screen time, yeah.
Actually, I looked at my screen time, it's 11 hours, 6 minutes. Like this, that's a lot. It's up 10% on previous week. So the things I set myself to do have all suffered because of time. So I've not done my tasks, my therapy tasks. What else have I not done? It's the spreadsheet. I've not done that because I haven't sat down and had that time to do it. But I'm saying that my work day, like most people's, starts at sort of, I have to be out of the house 8:30, 9 o'clock. First appointment's usually 10. I'm not getting home till 6, 7, a couple of times 8 p.m. Dog to walk, food to have, actually find time to get to bed for 9 o'clock if I want to be up early. There's not much time, but it's something I want to work on. And I think the big golden hour or two for me is early morning. So I need a morning routine, I think. Then I will get these things done.
And I also think some tasks you can just implement into your day rather than using time as a complete excuse. When you're walking your dog or you're doing these things, you can bring yourself into the present moment, like you said. And I know exactly what you mean, because even just I were in car yesterday and my eyes were just flickering because I was thinking of 1,000 different things. And Cloud took me out of the house because I can't get out of the house much at minutes on my leg and stuff. And she said, what are you doing? I was like, what do you mean? She was like, I can see your brain just going a million miles an hour. She went, just open window, put your head outside and just breathe some fresh air in. But it's exactly that, isn't it? You just need to pull your scent out of your head sometimes. And I feel like a couple of the tasks, I don't know all the tasks that you've been given off the top of my head. I can't remember what you said, but a couple of them I'm sure you could do while you're doing some other tasks at the same time, knocking them off at the same time, like walking your dog or when you're driving between jobs or something.
So the therapy tasks, I need
you need to
half hour, 45 minutes.
Right, okay.
Chill out, literally nothing in my mind. It's about relaxation.
Yeah.
So I need to literally waste an hour. That's how we'd see it, isn't it? So I need to do that. The other ones, like you said, I'm doing them. I am constantly thinking about it and working at it and understanding where my head's at and pulling it away from that place and blah blah blah. So that's I've done that pretty well. It's the big task, so the 45-minute task. I need to find that time slot.
But you said it just then. You said that's 45 minutes I need to waste.
I know, but that's how we see it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, right, I need to. So one of the things, one of my tasks is to literally lie on my bed and just drift away, just be present, not think about anything, just practice doing it. It's exercising that muscle for a long time. How the hell do you do that when you're like wired up like we are? Do you know what I mean? And you think you're always thinking the next thing, even if it's just thinking about, I need to be getting to sleep for 9 o'clock if I'm getting up at 5 or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
For example, that task though, I feel like you would be beneficial doing that at the end of the day, because 100%. The way, like you said, the way that we're wired, there's no way, I know for a fact, if I've got work and I've got lots of stuff to do in the day, there's no way I could just lay on the bed and just not be relaxed. I'd just be thinking, I've got 30 minutes to do this task now. I've got 25 minutes to do this task now. I've got 20. You would though, don't you?
That's what I'm saying.
So I think you need to kind of take on a little bit of what I did last week then. So if you're doing that if you've got that task as your therapy task, why don't you brain dump before that to get those thoughts out of your head initially, then try to drift off and allow that as part of your evening routine? You then free up your morning, because that's going to allow you to unwind before you go to sleep, which is hopefully going to give you a deeper sleep, increased energy levels, all the positive benefits that you're going to get from sleep as well. So that's probably a good task to add in the brain dump beforehand, because with the way all of our brains work, and I know that we're all slightly different, but we are all wired very similar as well. We're all fairly highly strung in that kind of way. So brain dump it out, and then allow yourself to relax and allow yourself to drift once you've got that off your chest. Once you've got all those thoughts onto paper and you've written them down, you've got them out your head, then allow yourself to drift off, and have that as part of your evening routine. Free up the time for you in the day when you need to be productive and when you need your brain to be at that higher functioning level.
Yeah, that's perfect. It's mad. Like, this is why we're doing it.
Yeah.
Why have I not thought that? Mad, in it. No, that's spot on. So that's health.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good one for you. So if you do the same as me, then in a way of, if you're doing a brain dump, maybe you don't. Maybe thinking if you're going to try and wind down, maybe it's a good thing to, if you document just as you're about to do the brain dump, or something like that. Just be like, right, as you're there with your pen and paper, you sat on your bed or you sat downstairs, wherever it is, just saying, I'm just going to do my brain dump, then I'm going to wind. Your phone goes off at that point, and that's when you take your phone off. So it's almost like the last act of the day on your phone is to document the fact that I'm going to do my brain dump, guys. Just checking in, saying, doing what I said I'm going to do. Brain dump's going in, then I'm going to drift off and try and unwind and relax for the day. That's it. Your phone goes off in a drawer, wherever it is, other side of the room, on silent, and that's your time for you then. And if that's at 9 o'clock at night, mate, that's at 9 o'clock at night. I know you say that in the morning, you want to train, you want to walk the dogs, you want to get your breakfast, and we spoke about this a little bit yesterday. There is a merit. I get up at 5 o'clock every morning, you know I do, and there is merit to that, because you do have that extra hour and you're kind of ahead of everyone. It's not for everybody, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But maybe getting up that hour earlier to allow you a bit more breathing space in the morning to get the things that you need to done, and having 7 hours sleep instead of 8, that might be a necessity right now of where you are in your life. You know, ultimately, if you want the savings, you want the house, you want these things, having that extra hour a day is 7 extra hours across the week, which I think you probably really need to be trying to utilize for your mental health and your wealth.
I think me saying that I can't get up, or I can't get up early because I'm going to bed late, I think that's bullshit. I think having a mobile phone cuts that off at both ends. It cuts that time off. I know I wake up and I spend probably 50, even if it's only 15 minutes.
I'm exactly the same.
It just dulls down your early morning, get up and go, doesn't it? And you're not off and running, you're laying down, all your hormone levels change and everything. And it just cocks your day up from that point on. So I think leaving your phone downstairs, get up, get active, and do my tasks. And I think it'll snowball from there. So I think it's definitely worth trying that. And it's the same when you go to bed, isn't it? You go to bed at 9, you're on your phone till 10.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I did last week, and I tried to stay, as part of my 30 minutes a day, was to turn my phone off before I go to bed, actually have some time away from the screen. It's like you go from a screen, I literally work on a laptop, and then I go to a TV screen or whatever when I watch my missus, when I have a bit of time to unwind. And I'm on my phone during that half the time. And then I get in bed and I'm on the screen. It's like, it's not ideal, is it? So, just cutting that screen off for a little bit, and this is why I chose to read a book. And I think if you're going to do the brain dump, if you still need to be getting up and you're going to leave your phone downstairs, buy a manual alarm clock. Buy one of those fucking big giant ones, like those novelty ones or whatever. Just still going to get you up in the morning.
Apple Watch will still go off, won't it? Charge that next to my bed.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely. It is definitely that. I just feel lethargic the minute I get up.
I don't shower straight away.
Cold shower, but
I got up this morning. I was right toasty. It was 8 o'clock and all. I thought, right, I feel like shit. Because I went for a couple of beers last night. I was just bored. I just went for a couple of beers. I don't feel like shit. I just don't feel great. I stood in front of the mirror and I thought, do I cold shower now? No, because really my body temperature is a little bit higher. So actually,
it's now.
So I promise I will do my cold shower. I'm going to do it straight after this. Because it does change it. It does. Actually, cattle product, innit? It's good. So yeah, I like that. So I've written down brain dump, then do my therapy tasks, and that'll come out. That'll sort of manifest itself as a better morning routine and buy me some time, won't it?
Yep.
Wealth then, we said to start a saving pot, done that.
And
Stop living in overdraft. I've managed to do that because I've had a good week and take responsibility for my financial future. Essentially, what we mean by that is to do a spreadsheet. I haven't done that, but today I'm not going to do anything until I've done that spreadsheet. So I'll shower, spreadsheet, and I will do it. I've just because I've not done that task, I'm not being operating like we've just said there. I just genuinely had time to sit and do a spreadsheet. So I'll do that. House deposit, that's a long-term thing. So that was the one for me, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
start saving pot, create a finance spreadsheet.
Yeah.
To work out your ingoings and outgoings and stuff. So we can continue that to be done by next week then.
I think you need to prioritise that finance spreadsheet if you're actually going to get anywhere with your finances long term.
Say that again, mate. I
think that financial spreadsheet, your income and expenditure, needs to be a pretty high priority if you're going to really look at your money.
You might look at it and think, shit in hell, there's some stuff on here that I can just manage immediately. You can just fix straight away.
Unless you look at it objectively and have it written down in front of you. This is why I know, like, I've offered to create you one multiple times, but you never want to do it. But you don't. I have, and you need it in front of you to actively break down what you're spending your money on, because you might be able to save £500 a month. When I looked at your outgoing, when you told me your outgoings, I was gobsmacked, and you know that. And like, you might be able to save £500 a month, which in 12 months is £6,000 towards your house deposit, just through making small changes and things that you do. But you need that list in front of you. And it also allows you to monitor your income each month. Because of the way your job works, your income's not set. You haven't got a salary, so you're not creating a budget as such. What you're doing is creating an income and expenditure form. You know what you're spending each month, and you know what you need to do for your break-even point, and therefore you know what you want above that to live the standard of life you want, and then you know what you've got set aside. So then you know you've got goals and you've got targets which you want to hit. It's all going to well saying, I just want to sell as much as I can this week. But if you've got an actual goal and you say, well, this is the minimum that I need, when you get to that point, it all becomes a bonus, and you can work and work and work as much as you want. But until you've got a sheet with it in front of you, you're winging it half the time on your finances. And if you really want this house,
100%.
You're 100% of the time winging it on your finances, and it will massively change the way that you view your money. And especially if you want to create generational wealth for your kids and things like that, which I know you do. Yeah, it needs to be a priority list for you. I've been harping on you about this since the day I fucking met you.
Yeah, I actually thought before we came on, what I want to do is I want to own that I've not done it, but I don't want to what you do, you disarm.
Yeah.
So I've almost disarmed you by making a joke about it. Now you can't really ever go at me. Well, actually, it's shit that I've not done it. It's irresponsible, which are all the things that I'm not liking about myself. So, like, do you know what I'm trying to say? It's interesting coming at it. That's what I'm saying. My mindset's changed around all these things. Like, hold on a minute, I'm acting like one of these people I've been coaching and getting pissed off with for a long time, full of shit. So I wanted to just put it out there so you could.
So just fucking do it.
Coach, rather than me disarm you with, we're making a laugh and a joke about it.
But like, I've been going on about this for a long time. It needs to be done. That needs to be a priority for this week, I think, especially for your wealth. If nothing else, get that sheet done and populate it entirely with exactly what you want and what you spend, what you need each month to get to where you want to be. Otherwise, you're fucking going blind. Like, yeah, you've got you're making good money on solar, but you really want to be fucking having milestones of which you can hit, which are going to get you to where you want to be. If you can get there, because you might be able to get there a lot faster if you actually objectively look at what you're spending your money on. Might make you second guess next time you're in a shop and you're buying something frivolous that you don't need or whatever it is. To have it, it's the same as writing your habits down. It's like, when we talk about the discipline diary and things like that, just actually having it in front of you in black and white will make a big difference. So for me, that needs to be your priority this week for your wealth, is to get that done early in the week.
Yeah.
Log it. Document it.
Yeah, I'll do it today. I promise. I will do it today.
Right, sound. We'll have a picture by tomorrow then, shall we?
Yeah, Monday morning spreadsheet. How much you spend on pasta?
So,
keep going red squirming.
It's not Costa, it's Greg's, mate.
My man's just spending like £100 a week on sausage butties.
It's flat. Yeah, flat whites at Greg.
Flat whites and flapjacks.
Yeah, well, when you work on road, it's almost like you've got to buy something to have a wee. Anyway, so the other one was relationships. So in relationships, I was set the task.
3 convos with friends or family.
Yeah, I smashed that. The big one was to inspire my daughter, Molly, sort of uninspired. But one of the things we're having conversations with her. So the more I've spoke to her this week, it's actually come back around. So what's been really good and really eye-opening is I've spoke to her more, just checked in more. She kind of take it for granted because when you call them, they don't have a conversation with you. They're just like, yeah, nah. So you don't call them because it's almost like a little dagger to your heart. But just push through that and try to call her every couple of days. And then what happened? It manifested itself in Molly's. I've got this lump on my palm. It's a really complicated name. I can't say it. But basically, it pulls on your tendons and closes your hand. But it looks like a flipping cyst or...
My granddad's just had a surgery on that.
Yeah, well, they won't do a surgery because they're going to wait till it does pull my hand.
Yeah.
But I'm like just driving around, cracking on. I'll probably wait till I've got this deformed hand. Molly's actually been proactive on my behalf and she's researched it and she's sent it a message and she's said, Dad, get to the hospital, dickhead.
Yeah, send me messages.
Yeah.
Dickhead.
Yeah, so actually, because I've done what I said I'd do, straight away that Sunday, I got Molly round and we looked at setting up an Etsy account as a seller because she doesn't want to do a crappy job like Primark or McDonald's, whatever. She's creative. I think she's a bit like me. So because we did that, we've just had a bit more contact and I'll be contacting her today because I set her a task actually to come up with a business name and create 3 products. And I'm going to check in with her after this. But because I've shown some interest, she's actually gone out on a limb and done it back, which is interesting. We take it for granted. So you feel like an idiot for not realising this stuff. But how many people go through life with the children not realising things like that?
The amount of effort you put into somebody will generally dictate the amount of effort they'll put back into you.
Yeah.
And that goes for friends and everything, which I've got massively. You know, it is exactly the same with friends and it is with family. When I put more effort into my family, they automatically message me more. They automatically put more effort back into me. When I do it with my friends, they'll take the time out their day to send me a message saying, how you doing? Instead of it just, sometimes you go for months or weeks without speaking to somebody. And I'm guilty of it with certain friends and things like that. You do take it for granted. You think it was always going to be there. So it's good that you realise that. And I'm glad that that's a positive thing for you this week.
Yes, as men, we need to, we talk about this hunter-gatherer type, where the man of the house, blah, blah, blah. Actually, we need to set the pace on all fronts, don't we? We need to inspire, we need to love, we need to support, all of those things, because then it'll actually come back to us, and they're the things that we need as well. So, yeah, just giving it has been realised that I'll actually receive it as well. So it's been really helpful.
It's the thing about being an alpha as well, isn't it? I suppose, in a way. People think that alphas are just like loudmouth people and things like that, but it's not. Alphas are leaders. If you're going to be the leader of the family, you're going to be the head of the family, I suppose it would be. You're going to be the patriarch. You've got to lead by example. Part of that example is how you treat the people underneath you. So if you're going to reach out to them, show them love, show them affection, they're going to show other people love and affection. And people imitate the behaviour of the people they look up to. So if your kids see you and you're distant or anything like that, they're going to be distant with you. That's natural. That's going to happen because they're emulating your own behaviour. So that's a massive thing for men. Don't be afraid to be available emotionally to the people around you, especially in your life. And so yeah.
So in terms of relationships, I'm not sure.
I think keep going. Make sure you're sustaining
next week. Well done.
Yeah, well done. Make sure you're sustaining it next week then.
I'll tell you what I haven't done. We haven't set that time again because, again, I'm making bullshit up. But I've contacted him about it. It's a bit like, oh, I've got work this week, that way. And I've just like gone, right. It feels like you can't iron that out with him when actually you can. You just need to stick at it. So maybe I'll just...
You need to send your availability.
Yeah. That's what we said to you. So you need to say, right, guys, this week, every single week, I'm going to be available. If you can make it, amazing. If you're not, you're not. That's you time blocking the time for your kids. So whether that's Sunday, 12 till 2, or 12 to 4, whatever it is, whatever you want to allow yourself on those days off that you know you have, which is generally the weekend. Say, at this time, every single week, I've made it available for you. If you're not available, let me know that week. I can make plans. But if not, it's always there for you. You always come first in this time. And that is you just opening up that door so that it's always open for them. I think that's what we came to last week, isn't it, Ben? Because we had this conversation about that last week. If they're not available and they've got work, that's understandable. People have work. But it's you taking that step to say, right, this is your time. This is my time for you. And, you know, if it's there, if you want it. So I think even if you just do that, just put that in your diary, your calendar, you've got Google Calendar every single week, 12 to 2, whatever it is, whatever time you choose, say, this is yours. They can make it if they meant, if they can't, they can't, but you've done it. It's always there for them.
Yeah. Sweet. So I've got brain dump spreadsheet and time blocking kids.
Perfect.
Can do that.
Yeah, and I think with all this as well, obviously we're building upon what we did last week. So some of these are going to be the same each week, but I think we need to try and make sure that we are keeping those habits that we're still building in. So still keep, you know, your gratefulness messages that you send to your family and friends, then don't just let that slip to the wayside. You don't, you know, just try and keep on top of that, even if it's a couple of messages a week, a few messages a week to friends, just seeing how they are. Still a good thing to do. It doesn't need to be a priority list for you, but it still needs to be getting done in TikTok each week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good stuff.
So
I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Good last week, then. That was really good positive moves.
I think, a few big points for me. It's realizing that you don't have to be coming up with these new things all the time. So that's our natural disposition. It's keep chipping away at the little things, week in, week out. I think that come across for all of us. Like Ben needs to carry on with his rehab just because he's done it better than he has done. We haven't actually heard your feedback from that, right, Ben?
No, I'm next.
But positive things come from it, don't they? So that's wicked. I hope everybody else has sort of picked up something from that, whether you're watching or you guys, obviously. So all squared away and understand what we're trying to do for next week. Yeah, let's get it out there. Let's share it. Any lessons?
Ben, are you happy with the same task as last week?
Yeah. I'm happy with.
You want to elaborate on?
No, I think maybe the only one that I probably need to change is 5 conversations a day, maybe. And maybe change it to just make sure I'm being consistent messaging people and stuff for the wealth one.
You said that, but you said you're getting more comfortable at it.
Yeah.
You
push yourself out of that comfort zone.
Well,
you have to find new ways to contact people now, aren't you? Because you're going to exhaust that natural list. Don't back off.
Yeah. I think maybe keep that in. One of the things I want to stress from this week as well is it is okay to not be perfect. So when Ben messages early in the week saying, I'm struggling with this, you know, I'm reaching out, I'm doing these things. Ultimately, even if you're not getting 5 conversations a day and you're not ticking that box up every single day, you're doing a lot more than you ever thought.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's the whole point of this, is to get better. We don't expect, if we all came on and went, right, these are our tasks, and we all came on and went, yeah, nailed it 7 days out of 7 last week. What's the fucking point of coaching each other? We're literally just giving each other tasks. Like, the whole point of this is to try and grow. And I think just by you admitting that you're getting more comfortable with it is a massive point. You're getting better at that process, and that is naturally going to snowball to the point where 5 conversations a day is going to seem like light work. You know, that's a warm up. It's going to get to that point. So I don't think kind of backing off on that, like Dan said, is the best idea. If you want to adapt it slightly, it's 10 messages a day. So when you outreach, you change it to like direct outreach to 5 people a day, 10 messages a day, just so that you're at least still doing that groundwork and putting those steps in place.
It's shit, isn't it? Trying to cold message people. I've got leads that are not cold messages; they're hot leads, and it's still difficult. You procrastinate, don't you? I'll do it at 5 instead of 3. Do you know what I mean? It's like you do, don't you? So do it and get comfortable doing it, because it's the only way business is going to grow. Literally, the only way.
Yeah. Well, let's keep it. I'll do it. I'll crack on.
I'm taking that one on a little bit as well. I mean, I took inspiration from this week as well, obviously, because one of my wealth things is to get become to sort of 4 or 5K as a standard. And we've had a decent start to the month, but for me to get any like to be at that level every day, I need to be doing the same things you're doing. So I'm kind of with you on that one. I know it's great, and it is, especially when if you don't know anything about somebody, you are cold messaging them, you have no idea whether they're actually interested in your service. It's kind of like it's awkward as fuck, but you just gotta get used to it, man. If they follow you, there's a reason they follow you, and if it's not because they want your coaching services, at least you can offer them some free value, or and you can strike them off your list. The better you kind of rinse your completely dead leads out there, the less time you're going to waste on them, and you can focus on more hot leads anyway.
Yeah,
so I think that's a good thing to keep doing. And like I say, it inspired me a little, like last week as well. It's one of the things me and Beth have taken on to do as well. So that's really good. So awesome. Anything else from anybody?
Happy with that, to be fair.
Good stuff. Yeah, knocking on head then. Looking forward to seeing what everybody does. Looking forward to seeing it in the group. If you're watching on, I hope that's been helpful. Join us in the group. Like I said, you're just going to pick up things and put things into practice. Even just set your own little friendship group up to do it if that's the way you're going to do it. But it's obviously working for us. We're only second week in. We're all noticing big changes. And now we're getting to the point where we're starting to just stretch ourselves a little bit. Like Ben, we're just going to back off then. And he's not. We're going to stretch him a little bit because he's hard. It's got to be. Everything relates to that plunge pull that John's doing. Everything. Everything. It's the same mindset, and that's what the title of the frigging group is. So yeah,
awesome. Let's do it. Just fucking do it, boys. You've got your tasks. Go on, lads. Enjoy. Have a good day. I look forward to seeing you